Now, let's move on to the next core alpha inhibitor, EBAI, or erection biochemicals alpha inhibitor. And the reason why these erection biochemicals are so important to your erections is that without the essential erection biochemicals necessary, you will not be able to get or maintain an erection or last as long as you want no matter what you do. The reason why this is in the left corner of the impact point matrix is that this is an essential cornerstone of the ecosystem. You take this out and nothing else will work, and the whole ecosystem collapses. For example, if you have a plant, that plant is dependent on several factors in its ecosystem. Great sunlight exposure, nutrient-dense soil at a pH of 7, uncontaminated mineral-rich water, carbon dioxide, constant wind resistance so it can form a strong base. In this metaphor, the erection biochemicals are like the nutrients in the soil. If the soil is just dirt and does not carry any of the essential nutrients that the plant needs to survive, the plant will die, even if all of the other factors are in place. Without the erection biochemicals, like the plant being deprived of its nutrients, your dick will start to shrivel up from penile atrophy. For example, I recently had a client that started with me and was making awesome progress. Excuse me. His erections were getting much stronger. He was lasting longer in the bedroom than he ever previously would have thought he could have done. And then his progress suddenly started to tank, and he was confused as to why. When we got on our next call, we started to dive in deeper. And as it turns out, he was trashing his erection biochemicals in his spare time with excessive amounts of alcohol consumption. And when we started working together, we put the alcohol on hold while we were starting to build up the different pieces of his erection ecosystem. And when we buttoned up all of those loose ends, he started to see some really great results. So he thought that he didn't have to follow the program anymore and started binge drinking because he thought he had everything under control. When that happened, his excessive drinking increased his testosterone and increased his estrogen and tanked his testosterone and wreaked all kinds of havoc on his other erection biochemicals. And just like when you take a sledgehammer to the cornerstone of a well-constructed temple, his entire ecosystem crumbled under the abuse he put on his erection biochemicals. But once the pain of his erections being lost to him again was apparent to him, we were able to get his drinking under control. Now he can have the occasional drink without trashing his erection biochemicals and is able to have stage 4 rock-hard erections and have incredible lasting power with his partner. He said he now feels empowered and completely in control of his sexual functioning. And he's confident every time he brings a woman back to the bedroom that he will be able to perform like a rock star, free of the chains of the little blue pills that make you more and more dependent on them, even if just psychologically, and ultimately tank your erection biochemicals with every single dose. Now, I'll give you another great example, which is actually more common now than it's ever been. I had this client come to me because he had been struggling with his erections for some time. And he had gone to his doctor many months before he reached out to me. And as soon as he told his doctor that he was starting to experience ED, his doctor immediately prescribed him TRT. Now, if you don't know what TRT is, it stands for testosterone replacement therapy. Basically, what they do is inject you with synthetic bioidentical testosterone, or they give you testosterone creams or testosterone pellets that they inject inside you to artificially increase your testosterone levels. Now, when you do this, your body eventually becomes completely dependent on this external source of testosterone. And that brings us back to the age-old use it or lose it principle. You see, if your testicles stop producing testosterone naturally because it's already getting it artificially from injection, creams, or pellets, what happens is your body will eventually stop producing natural testosterone. And when that happens, your testicles start to shrivel up and kind of recede into your body, sort of like ovaries. This particular client was really freaked out because his balls had shrunken to such an extent that they were actually starting to soften and disintegrate inside of his scrotum. He told me that his testicles actually became mushy to the touch. They didn't just shrink, but actually started to break down and became mushy because his body no longer needed them to produce testosterone because he was already artificially injecting it inside of him. Use it or lose it. There is no getting around this basic law of nature. His testicles were no longer able to produce testosterone. And because the body doesn't want to hold on to what it doesn't need, it started to reabsorb his testicles because he already had plenty of artificially injected testosterone in the system. His body was just basically trying to reabsorb his testicles so it didn't have to waste any more energy on them because they are now no longer needed to produce testosterone. I mean, talk about chemical castration. But it was worse because during the COVID pandemic, it affected the supply chain for testosterone replacement therapy, and many men across the country were not able to get their doses of testosterone, which had put them into a really weak hormonal state. To be honest, when he told me that his testicles had not only shrunk to a fraction of their original size, but were actually mushy, I was a little concerned that he had crossed over the point of no return, that maybe his body would not be able to produce its own testosterone ever again. And now he would just be completely dependent on the medical community. And for the testosterone replacement supply chains to not ever get interrupted again, to be able to even remotely function or feel like a man. If you think about it, this really is just chemical castration by hypodermic needle and creams. But long story short, we really started focusing heavily on bringing up his natural testosterone levels, getting his body to use his testicles again, which honestly involved some really hard work and dedication on his part because of how far the damage had already gone. Over time, we were able to bring his testosterone levels back to healthy levels holistically without TRT. And when we buttoned down the other aspects of his IPM ecosystem, he was able to get amazing erections. And he's able to have amazing sex with his partner now without having to inject himself. When your testicles are small and mushy, you feel old and worthless. And it can be really embarrassing to expose them to a woman in bed because it's psychologically humiliating and emasculating. But when you are packing a throbbing stage 4 rock hard erections with testicles plump full of ejaculate and with how they're supposed to be, you don't think twice about performing in the bedroom. And you'll be able to enjoy, and your woman can enjoy, your family jewels as they're naturally supposed to be. Okay, let's move on to the next core alpha inhibitor that's at the base of the triangle, PIAI, or porn-induced alpha inhibitor. Hey man, I hope you really like this video segment on the impact point matrix, or IPM for short. I am sure you're wanting to learn more about all the different areas of the IPM ecosystem behind your erections. If you want to check out the full training, go ahead and click the link or green button located somewhere below this video to register for your free 24-hour access pass to this brand new, updated, full training. In this training, we dive deeper than I have ever gone before into the ecosystem behind your erections, so you can start getting throbbing stage 4 rock hard erections on command and last as long as you want in the bedroom, without any drugs, irreversible surgeries, or injections into your member. So you can finally experience complete control over your sexual function and pound through wave after wave of orgasmic contractions from your woman. And finally claim your birthright of being the man that she admires and loves both outside and inside the bedroom. The full package, so to speak. So don't wait another second and make sure you snag your free 24-hour access pass while it's still free and on your mind right now. And I will see you on the other side.